Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Dave with Down to Earth Astronomy. Now this has been a very eventful week, so there's a lot to talk about, and so let's just get started. Before we get into all the elite stuff, because of course there's a lot of different stuff to talk about there, might split some of it up in a separate video, but first of all, on Sunday, which is actually today for me, but I don't know when this video will come out, because on Sunday my apartment building was struck by lightning. And I made a quick update just to let you guys know that the live stream that I said I was planning to do on Sunday would of course be cancelled, because currently I am without internet connection. So that's also why I don't know when this video will actually be posted. I'll of course post it as soon as my network is back, and according to my ISP, they're planning to have it done tomorrow, which for me is Monday. So I'm hoping that this videos can come out on its usual time slot on Monday afternoon. But if there's some hiccups with the repairs, it might be delayed, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, what happened was, usual Sunday, we're sitting preparing to record Hello Dave and planning for what other recordings we're going to do during the week. I did begin to hear some thunder like in the distance, so I thought, okay, I'll have to delay this. I'll just very quickly finish this up, and I'll close everything down just in case, because, well, I really don't want a lightning to hit my computer, because that would be a rather expensive experience. And before I knew it, this huge thunder right above. And actually one of my screens turned off for a second, and if I remember, the first thing that went through my head was like, oh fuck, new monitor. And then it come back online like a second later. So at that point I was like, okay, I'll have to finish the planning later, because that thunderstorm apparently was a lot closer than I first anticipated. Close everything down and begin to walk around, see if anything is damaged. Now, during the video I did, you saw that I have my NAS server, which is for those who don't know, it's a server that you keep, well, anywhere basically, that just have a lot of hard drives in it and use as an external storage. And it's good because you can have drives die on you, and you can still just replace them and then rebuild your data. So it's a fairly secure thing. But if the whole server was struck by lightning and it fried all the drives, or drive just more than 2 of the 6 drives actually, I would have been in trouble. Now, it's not going to be the end of the world. I have all the important files backed up, like templates and logo designs, and all that stuff is backed up elsewhere. So that's safe and sound, and not in any danger of losing that. But I would have, if I lost more than 2 drives, I would lose all recordings and video project files that I had, and that would have been quite the bummer, to be honest. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It wouldn't have to close down a channel or anything. I would still have my template, so I could begin rebuilding, but it would still be quite the blow. But anyway, I go out, and the first thing I of course notice is that my server is offline. So that got me very worried. And I did manage to first get it up and booting, but of course this was running headless, so I could not see where if the server was actually working, or if it's just the fans turning on, or if anything was damaged in the server. And of course my internet was down as well, so I could connect because it was just connected locally. But I started troubleshooting the internet to start with. I had to find an old router, try to plug that in, see if I could get it up and running, because I was afraid that the router was faulty after the lightning strike. But it turns out that the problem is one of the main switches in my local area from my ISP that got burned out doing another lightning strike just across the street. So they're changing that. But luckily I have the server up and running again. All drives survived. Nothing. I mean, the server apparently just shut off as a safety precaution during the there must have been some power surge, which was also why I saw the screen flicker. But anyway, everything is up and running. Nothing is lost. I have no equipment failure whatsoever, apart from, of course, from my internet being down, but that's due to the ISP's equipment. So that's all good. But of course, it means that live stream on, well, yesterday, or well, whenever this video goes up, on past Sunday, was cancelled. And I have plans for other live streams, so but we'll talk more about that later. But for now, let's get into Elite, because Frontier had their like 2.4 preparation lore live stream where they would talk about some of the lore, and they also did a announcement, or they released one of these new cinematics video trailers for the update, which is very good. And if you haven't seen that already, head over to their channel, Frontier Elite Dangerous, I think it's actually called, and look up that trailer. It's very good and actually gives some quite interesting insights. But the most interesting and probably most important information was that the 2.4 release is going to be on the 26th of September, which is, let me see, it's Tuesday next week. I will try, if it's at all possible, on the day to have a live stream so we can go in and have a look at what's going on. But as I said, not everything's going to be available from the get-go. So I'm expecting that we might not have Thargoid combat. I mean, I haven't been able to watch the whole live stream. I was in the process of watching the live stream as a preparation for this week's Hello Dave. When I had to close everything down because of, well, lightning. And since I haven't had an internet connection ever since, I haven't been able to watch the whole live stream. But as far as what I've gathered, and they've said that before, but I don't think Thargoid's going to be available. We're going to be there right from the get-go. We're going to be able to go down and begin fighting them right from the start. There might be some preparations or some story acts that have to unfold before that thing happens. But again, on the other hand, we have seen a lot of attacks. I think recently a federal capital ship was attacked and destroyed by Thargoid, so they're definitely on the offensive. One thing though that I think is a little it's a shame. I mean, they way back when they were beginning to just talk about that Thargoid would return, they said that they were planning to make the player decide whether we want to go for a peaceful or an offensive approach when it came to the Thargoids. Now, that kind of seems to have gone down the drain, because right now the Thargoids are attacking human ships left and right, and the whole vibe of it seems to really much be focused on now we have to go and attack Thargoids. There's been no talks, as far as I've heard from Frontier, about a peaceful way to deal with these guys, which I think is kind of a shame that they don't really put that out to the community. But again, most of the community seems to be very hyped about killing Thargoids. So another thing they also mentioned was it kind of confirmed that, at least again, I haven't seen this part of the live stream, so this is like gonna be, I heard it from someone who actually watched that part of the live stream, so this is kind of secondhand. But they kind of confirmed that the Type 10 is going to be a thing, and that it's not the Panther Clipper. So that just confirms what we already knew, that it's not the Panther Clipper, but just confirms that the Type 10 is a thing that's going to be in the patch. So that'll be interesting. I'll try to keep you guys posted, updated on what that is, what kind of ship it is, once we know a little bit more about it. But there's also been some interesting thing in that cinematic trailer that I talked about. And I'm gonna do another video later this week where I'm gonna go into a lot more detail in what was in the trailer. Not just gonna go through it, and I'm gonna go in and see what we can actually use that information for, rather than just do a lot of speculations on what is actually shown in the video, because I think most of you can probably get that by watching it yourself. But one interesting thing that I found in the trailer, though, was the confirmation that the Thargoids are going to be using droned weapons, like small fighter crafts, not fighters, as we have the even smaller, drones is probably the best description of them. Now, this is of course on par with the lore that this was their preferred weapons, but it's just nice to see that that's also how it's going to be implemented. Now, that of course leads to a lot of speculations about how we're going to defend against something like that. But again, another video later on, hopefully later this week. That again depends a lot on internet and when that thing is back. But yeah, the main thing here, 2.4 is going to be released on the 26th of September, which I would assume you already heard, because, and again, this has been out for quite a while now. Now, let's go back and talk about live streams, because as I said earlier, that last week's live stream was of course cancelled. But I'm planning to next week, on the 23rd, which is on Saturday, I'm gonna host another of these open small ship combat streams, and this time we're going out in Cobras. So if you're new to the channel, I've hosted these open streams where everybody is welcome to come and join. And what we would often do is we would take small ships, fit them for combat, and just go out in huge numbers to a resource extraction site and begin to kill anacondas and other big ships. And it's a load of fun bombing it around in small ships, killing massive things, just swarming everything we see. And this time we're going to do it in Cobras. So if you want to join, get your Cobra ready, fit it, and have it ready in Naughty. That's N-O-T-I. On the 23rd, and we're going to start at 2100 Central European Summertime. So that's CEST. And that's, I think, with GMT +2 because of summertime. But anyway, I'm going to try to put a notification up so you can see it on the channel. If you're subscribed, you should get an event thingy. I don't know what they're called in your subscription feed. There will be an event where you can see the actual timestamp, but it will be converted to your local time. But anyway, if you want to join, have your ship ready in Naughty, and then get on Discord, because this is where we're going to be hosting most of it from. I'm going to try to coordinate it from there. And if you're planning to join, I hope that I really hope that you'll be able to at least listen in on the Discord server. And you don't have to speak if you don't like to do that. I know there's a lot of people who don't, but that's completely fine if you could just at least listen in, because the stream is going to be 15 seconds delayed as usual. And if we're coordinating, trying to call out targets, then it's going to be a little confusing if you're always 15 seconds behind. So make sure there's a link for Discord down below the video in the description. Go down and find that link. Yeah, so this video is already dragging out a little bit longer, but there is something else that I want to mention. That's because there was a couple of rather interesting comments last week on last week's Hello Dave that I don't know if they surprised me, made me think. I just thought they were interesting, and I wanted to comment on them here as well. And I'm sorry, but I have to read this off my phone because, well, you know, no internet. So this is a comment made by RLH Rock, and there was a comment on that I said last week that I wanted to begin to play more VR games, because I've done that in the past and something that I kind of missed on the channel, and I talked about beginning to play Lone Echo. First video on that is already out, and hopefully I can get some more Lone Echo videos out. Don't know if that game plays offline, and if it does, I'm definitely going to record some while internet is down anyway. So, but he made a comment on that. He says that it's cool that I like to play Lone Echo, but that the number of viewers that have VR is very small. So every video that I make for in virtual reality is time taken away from dangerous content. So what he said, that to be successful, I need to expand into more open world games that there's a larger audience for. And he's absolutely right. That, I mean, if you want to just expand, if you just want to just expand your channel, get as many views, as many subscribers as possible, you should of course go for the games where there is the largest player base, because a large player base of course means there's going to be more people who already have an interest. Now, going out playing virtual reality games is meaning there's a lot of players and a lot of viewers who do not have access to these kind of games, because virtual reality equipment is very expensive. It requires a powerful computer, and the headsets themselves, the touch controllers, everything. That doesn't come cheap. So he's absolutely right. But I think there's something that he missed, and that is that from my point of view, it might not. I mean, it's not my main focus that the channel is growing. Don't get me wrong, it's very high on my list of priorities, but it's not number one. Number one is to enjoy it and have fun for myself. And if I played a game which I really didn't want to play, but I did it because I thought it would get me a lot of viewers, then I would get burned out of YouTube within a couple of months. And I would just not have fun, stop doing it altogether. And that's why I would much rather play a game, and I also think it makes better videos. If I play a game that I personally enjoy, and I mean, and then don't care that much about if it's something that people want to watch. Don't get me wrong here. I enjoy making a video and seeing it doing well. When a video gets lots of views and lots of likes and people give me good feedback, of course I enjoy that. I think anybody who puts videos on YouTube would like that. But it's important that I keep doing this and it keeps being fun, also for me, so it doesn't become a second work, because then I'm gonna get burned out and I'm just gonna stop making videos altogether. So that's why I'm playing something that might not be as popular, and I'm also gonna do that in the future. And that also ties in quite well to another comment that was made last week, where I can't remember his name now. Don't have that on my phone right now, but who was surprised. What are you doing? Oh, bunnies. Okay, bunny is... Okay, never mind. Bunnies are making noises in the background. Okay, well, he made a completely sidetracked there. He made a comment that he was surprised that I was not a full-time YouTuber, and I'm first of all, I'm very flattered that someone thinks that the quality of the videos that I make is good enough to go full-time. But I am by no means a full-time. I mean, the money the YouTube channel makes is I would have a very hard time living off that. I mean, that wouldn't be possible at all. And so far, all the money that the YouTube channel makes is going towards trying to expand the YouTube channel. And for those who don't know, I keep the two main sources of income from the YouTube. That's called the ad revenue, which goes into a separate bank account, separate from my private economy. It goes into a YouTube bank account. And then there's all the Patreon stuff. And all the Patreon stuff is always been used for increasing or increasing quality of the videos, like better equipment, better microphones, better lighting, better cameras, all that stuff that increases the quality of the content and quality of the videos. There could also be better editing programs or something like that. Whereas the money that I get from the ad revenue, I would maybe use that for buying new games or buying using it for microtransactions. For instance, if I want a new skin in Elite, I might use some of the ad revenue. Or if I wanted to buy a new game, I might use some of the ad revenue for that. Or if I want to buy something that's not directly increases the quality of the video, but it's rather something that I just want because it's going to make my life easier, then I'll use the ad revenue for that. So that's why I'm keeping those two very separate, and I'm always going to keep it that way. Now that poses another problem going back to that going full-time, because that basically means that I've taken my income and I split it into two parts. And one of the parts I've set aside said that this is only going to go towards increasing quality of the video. Now, increasing the quality of the video doesn't pay bills, so that means that I would have to be able to, if I want to go full-time, I'll have to be able to live off the ad revenue alone. Which is of course doable, but I don't think it's doable with, what do I have, 6,500 subscribers right now. I would probably look into having more around 100 to 200,000 subscribers before that would be a viable option. But there are a lot of other things to taking into consideration if you want to go full-time on YouTube. For instance, first of all, it's a scary thing, because suddenly going from a stable job where you know the pay is going to come every single month. Now, suddenly, if you become a full-time YouTuber, you're in charge of making sure that the bills are getting paid. I mean, if you don't put out any videos, or your video's not doing well, you're not going to make as much money. Simple fact. But that's one thing. Another thing is, if I were to go full-time, I would, of course, increase the frequency of which I posted videos. Right now I post Hello Dave on Mondays, which kind of don't count as a video. Well, it's not a gaming video. And then I post gaming videos on Wednesday and Saturday. Now, if I were to go full-time, I would probably try to get a video out 5 days a week, so Monday to Friday, where Monday would probably then be Hello Dave, if that's still a thing at that point. and then have 4 gaming videos on the subsequent days. But again, then going back to the whole getting burnt out thing, because if I have to increase the number of videos I do, I also have to get more ideas. That might mean that I would either have to make my videos shorter, so I can split them up into 2, which I kind of don't like. I like to have the videos like a closed off, nicely rounded thing, unless you're doing like series that kind of ties together. But even though I still try to keep each video like a something you can watch on its own, like Worth a Visit, for instance. You could watch all the Worth a Visit videos on its own, and that would be completely fine, but you could also watch the whole series, which is going to give you a little bit of context. So that's one thing, that increasing the number of videos will of course also increase the chance that you get burnt out, because you have to now, you're kind of forced to push out videos. So that means that I would probably try to expand to other games as well, if that were a thing. But again, expanding to other games is also dangerous, because, well, what if people don't like it? Again, now suddenly you are dependent on these videos doing well to pay rent and bills and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of need a bit of headroom before we begin to do stuff like that. And then there's some more personal things on that note, being I don't do well being at home all day. I need to get out of the house sometimes, which would probably mean if I were to go full time, I would probably spend some money on renting an office somewhere. Just doesn't have to be anything fancy, just have to be big enough to have single desk, green screen, and that's about it. That's all I need. Now, well, almost all I need. But of course, that also costs money that I have to take away from the ad revenue as well, which is also going to go towards paying bills. But the reason why I need to get out of the house is because if I'm sitting on my own all day, just not seeing another living person, I'm going to go completely mad. I did that for almost a year doing my master thesis. I was writing my master thesis on my own. I, of course, had my my supervisor, who I, of course, talked to, but apart from that, I was pretty much on my own. So I would always, in the lunch break, I would walk to the other end of campus, where I knew there was a lot of other people. Some of my friends from either my own, starting on my own year, or younger students. We could sit and talk in some of the like lounge areas, just to get that human contact from time to time, because it can be very lonely when you write your master thesis, and if you don't have someone at home, then, well, you could go days without seeing or talking to anyone. So that's why if I were to go full time like that, I would probably want to hire someone part time doing. I would probably hire someone to edit videos or to research videos or something like that. I haven't put too much thought into this, but again, that's more money spent. But that's just me that I know I'm afraid of. If I was to be sitting on my own doing YouTube videos all day and didn't talk to anybody in real life, I would probably get burned out. So that's why I'm not even sure that it's ever going to be a thing that I'm going to go full time. But that was a very long answer to a rather simple question. But I think this video is already dragged out. It's quite long already, as you can see on my small timer. So I'm gonna call it here. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and I'll try to include as much of it as I can in next week's episode of Hello Dave. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel or becoming a Patreon, and help me toward that goal of maybe going full time, even though that Patreon technically would do that. Anyway, enough rambling. Until next time, I will see you guys in space.